Okay, so after all that photo stuff or light dependent reactions, we've arrived at the light independent reactions. Now, these reactions are the part of photosynthesis that do not actually require energy directly from light. This involves the Calvin cycle, and this is the synthesis part of photosynthesis, which makes food by trapping carbon dioxide, aka CO2. So there's this enzyme called rubisco, which brings together carbon dioxide and sugar, and this is called carbon fixation. So you have these three low energy molecules of CO2, which it is absorbed from the atmosphere through its stomata, as we're going to see in lab. Those are combined with three 5-carbon sugars, which are RUBP. This 6-carbon product is unstable and ultimately splits into 3-carbon products, which are also called 3-PGA. We're going to see a diagram of this later if it's super confusing. So ATP places a phosphate group on each 3-PGA, and NADPH donates a pair of electrons, which gives you your G3P. G3P is a very important molecule, and only one G3P exits the cycle. The other 5 are used to regenerate the starting material, that RUBP. And the reason that those go back to regenerating RUBP is because this is, in fact, a cycle. So you start with RUBP, and at the end, you end with RUBP. So here's the picture I was talking about. You have those 3 low-energy CO2 molecules coming in, combining with this rubisco thing, and you'll see they're chained together. They're chained together in this 6-carbon thing here. Those are split into 6 molecules of 3-PGA, as it's called. I'm probably not going to ask you about kind of the specifics of this, or at least I should say I'll let you know which specifics I want you to know. Those ATP are coming in, adding phosphates to this 3-PGA, energizing it. And NADPH or NADP is coming in here as well from the light reactions. It's adding some hydrogens to the situation, and this 3-PGA molecule is turning into this thing called G3P. All right, this G3P is going to, or one molecule of the 6 is going to exit and be turned into glucose and other derivatives, and these 5 are going to go back into regenerating RUBP. Okay, so 5 molecules of G3P go into generating 3 molecules of RUBP. And the math you should see actually does work out here, because you have 5 3-carbon molecules, that gives you 15, which turn into 3 5-carbon molecules, which is also 15. If this is very, very confusing to you, do not despair. This is an incredibly kind of confusing and convoluted cycle, and we're going to talk about it a few times this week. There, you will have some opportunities to learn it, but it's going to be very important for you to kind of buckle down and really think about this and really kind of look into it and ask me some questions, all right? But kind of understanding these steps is a great way to get started. You're taking carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and you're kind of chaining it together. You're chaining it together, and then you're adding phosphates to those things that you've chained together. And then the thing that you want, the G3P, after you've energized them, the one molecule of the G3P is actually going to exit the cycle, and the others are going to be used to regenerate RUBP here. And then the cycle starts over. The RUBP comes in, you fix the carbon, ATP comes in, you energize those carbon chains that you've stuck together. One of those chains that you've stuck together leaves and actually goes to make sugar. The rest of them regenerates RUBP. So this is a very, very basic thing that's happening here. CO2 is coming in, all right? ATP is donating its phosphates, NADP is coming in, and you're getting sugar out, and the other things are going back to continue this cycle going on. So here's kind of photosynthesis in a nutshell. You have sunlight coming in, it's energizing one of those electrons. Because that one of those electrons is getting energized, the molecule that it got energized from becomes an oxidizing agent, which grabs an electron from water. When it grabs an electron from water, that makes O2, and that's the reason that you're alive. It also makes some ATP and some NADPH. In addition to that, it's sending those to this Calvin cycle. The Calvin cycle is taking CO2 from the atmosphere. It's bringing in that CO2. It's using it to generate sugars. It's also using it to continue the cycle going on. In addition, it's sending this NADP plus back out to grab an NAD, or to grab a hydrogen and become NADPH, I should say, to grab two hydrogens and become NADPH. And it's sending ADP back over here to be re-energized into ATP. So in the next lecture, we're going to talk about photorespiration and plant adaptation.